Welcome back to doing fraction decimals and percentages. You're here with Mr. Canada, and we're looking at how to convert decimals to fractions today. So, looking at our page, we're trying to convert from 0.60 on our right to a fraction on our left. Now, it's going to be 3/5, and the way that we do this typically is timesing by 100 and over 100 and then simplify our fraction. We've done this before, just going the opposite way. So notice it's kind of a combination of two of the parts we've done before. So now, how are we going to do this? Because we're basically up to here, we're going, this is a percent, decimal to percent, and then we're going from using that knowledge to get to a fraction. So here, what are we going to look at? We're going to look at 0.45 as a fraction in the simplest form. So, notice on the top I had mentioned that it was a general case by doing 100 over 100. Sometimes you don't have to, and I'll try and point out why. So here we're multiplying the numerator and denominator by 10, 100, or 1,000. You're multiplying it by however much you have to. If it's 10, if you multiply by 10 and it gets rid of the decimal, that's great. You can stop there. If not, you have to multiply by another 10, which is, at the end of the day, multiplying by 100. And then if it still doesn't work, then you have to keep going. So, if you know that, well, it has to move twice, that means you have to multiply by 100. And keep in mind, we have to do this on the bottom as well. Right? So what are we actually going to get? We are going to get an answer of 45 over 100. Okay? The reason why we have this multiply by 100 down here is because it's the definition of what we're doing. We're going from a decimal really to a percent, and then we're representing that going from a percent, then putting it into a fraction. So we're combining two steps by just doing 100 over 100. And we're really not changing our problem because we're keeping it balanced. So now, like I said, we want to, step 2, simplify our fraction. So how do we do this? We divide by a common denominator. We've done this lots. And so this one we can do by 5 and 5. And we'll find that that is 9/20. So, example 2, 0.04. So we want to have it as a fraction in the simplest form. So first off, we'll multiply by 100 over 100. So we can get that as 4 over 100. Then we can divide the top and bottom by 4. As we've worked with this one before a few times, so we find that it's 1 over 25. So if you can't see that in that quick step in the middle with the red, don't worry. If you could divide by 2 and then divide by 2 again, you'd get the same answer. So now we're doing this one, so 0.055. So we'll times by 100 over 100. So the 100 over the 100 is just kind of the standard to go to, and then from that, once you get comfortable, you'll see when you can use the 10. You'll see when you will have to use more. So this is going to get us actually 5.5 over 100. Well, that's not right because we have a decimal on the top. So, like I said, you don't have to know how to do it all in one step because at this point we just say, well, we have to get rid of the decimal. We just have to times by 10 again. So we'll just do that, and we'll find that we have 55 over 1,000. So we have our fraction, and now we just have to simplify it. So even getting to that step would get you a lot. If you're having trouble with the simplifying, every step will typically get you somewhere, some marks. So here, that's going to be 11 over 200. So here is a group of fractions here. I'm going to let you pause the video now, take a chance at them, see how far you can get, and then we'll go through the answers after. Alrighty, so welcome back. While you're gone, I went in ahead and started the process a little bit to make it a little easier. So all I did is I times by the 100 over the 100. Okay, so this is what we're left with, and now we're just going to simplify. So we can divide both top and bottom by 20, and we'll find it's 1 over 5. Okay, so it doesn't actually say simplify, but a good rule of thumb is always simplify. So notice that how these two just look a little bit different, but it's the same fraction. Right, so we also get 1 over 5. Here we can divide by 5, so we get 7 over 20. 47, well, that's not a really good number to divide by, so it's actually just going to stay as 47. 5 over 100, well, we know we can get 1 over 20. Similarly, the next one's actually already done. We can't simplify 1. 7, you might have had 10 over 100, but this is where I said this little trick, and I'll actually demonstrate the trick here. So I was waiting to do this. So here, if you did not see it, so we can times by 10 over 10 instead of 100 over 100, right? Because that'll give us 1 over 10, and that's actually our final answer. Next one, well, we have to see. The big question is, it's not about the 1,000 in the front, it's the 101. Can we simplify the 101? Does 101 fit into 1,000? Right? So I'm going to go with no. So we're just going to keep it as 11 to 1. Also, it doesn't say simplify, so we'll just take that little cheat for ourselves. You could always check by actually finding out what the actual division works out to. But we'll just leave it there. Here, the next one, we know that 11 is not going to fit in nicely either. We can stop there.